Righty-ho. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, why's it got an exclamation mark on it? Saved on a different version. Ooh. Could you imagine if we couldn't load the game after all our efforts? I'd be fuming. It seems there's been an update since the last time we played. Probably to accommodate the new DLC. But anyway. Good evening. Sorry I'm a little bit late. A couple of minutes late. I got a work-related question. I finished work at 3:30. Got a work-related question through at about 5:10. And I thought, oh. So I just had to do a little bit of research. And after a bit of research, still I couldn't find the answer. So hey. But anyway, hope you've all had a great day. Good to see you all. Pete, Joker, Ollie, welcome. Hurt Cupboard, long time no see. Don't suppose anyone knows how to get super glue off their hands. Warm water? I don't know. Google it. Google's always your friend. What's this news? Kingdom of Rezia DLC's out. Marcus, good to see you again. Haven't been able to see a stream in about a year. Well, a year? What was I doing a year ago? It's a good question. I can't remember. I can't remember last week. I don't know what we were doing last year. Right, okay. I think this time last year we might have been playing CK2. I think I started that at the start of last year. Monkey Island, that could be correct. That could be correct. The brand new one that came out. You might be right on that one. You might be right. Cham, good evening, sir. Mummy's okay. She's much better today. Actually, to be fair, she's been a bit more perky today. My friend, I haven't rung her today, and I didn't ring her yesterday either. Now you might say, well, that's not a good friend, but hey, she's fine. Yeah, she's fallen. Yeah, she's damaged her ribs, but she's fine. It's not life-threatening. So I'm seeing her tomorrow probably. I always go over on a Friday for Friday festivities. But there probably won't be as many festivities tomorrow because she's obviously going to be probably still feeling a bit sore. So I'll just be festive and she can just sit there and mope about. Because my party's not stopping. It's Friday, and I've had a long week. And not because I've been busy, but because it's been quiet. And I don't know about you guys at work, but if you've got periods of quiet time at work, I often find those more draining than when you're busy, because the day drags and drags and drags. Oh, is it not 3:30 yet? Oh, it's only 12:15. Whew. So yeah. So but yeah, it's not been a busy week or a difficult week. It's just been a very long, taxing kind of week. That makes sense. We had some new trainees start, so there was a bit of a flurry of activity at the start of the week. And it's only been a 4-day week this week. Tomorrow's Friday, so it's only the 4th day because Monday was a bank holiday. So I shouldn't really complain, but it feels like I've done a full week. And after the last weekend's, what do you want to call them? Incidents. I don't feel like I had much of a break last weekend because the first 2 days were spent in various hospitals of the long weekend, and then the Sunday, although nothing happened on the Sunday, I was obviously fussing after the 2 injured parties, and then the Monday was the only first day that I felt like I could really relax, but I still was obviously still checking in with my friend, making sure she was alright because she was obviously still fresh out of falling on her ribs and all that. So I didn't really have much of a weekend. Even though it was a 4-day weekend, I don't feel like I had much rest. So this weekend, I'm planning, best laid plans, I'm planning on making sure that I have a very relaxing weekend, and I'm not going to get up to a right lot. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to just laze about. I'm just going to do some video gaming, streamy stuff maybe on Sunday, certainly. See how my friend's faring. She might not be well enough to do Friday and Saturday evening, so I might end up doing a Saturday stream this week, give her a bit of breathing space. So you might get a Saturday stream. So I'm just planning on having a bit of me time this weekend, because I felt like last weekend I was just looking after people, doing things for people, taxiing people about. Whereas this weekend, nah, unless you're going to fall again, which I don't highly plan and recommend, I'm just going to look after number one and just chill the hell out. Because I feel every night this week, and I usually go to bed about 12:30, you know, ish. I've been going to bed at like 11:30, before 12, because I felt really tired all week. So I think I'm just feeling probably a bit of post-holiday blues going on there. Because I went to my friend's house. This is going to be the end of the flim flam in a second. I went to my friend's house yesterday, the one that I see sort of twice a year, the one that I used to teach with when I was a young whippersnapper at the age of 18. We first met. She was my teaching assistant whilst I was teacher training, and we just got on so well. And I've kept in touch ever since, you know, so that's how many years later, 22 years later, and although I only see her once a year, twice a year sometimes, we've always kept in touch, and I regularly go up. I've been up every single Christmas for the past 22 years, and then sometimes mid-year as well. So yeah, she was the one that recommended the hotel to Turkey to me, which I thoroughly enjoyed, of course. I've not told you about the holiday yet, so I won't give anything away until the party stream in a couple of weeks' time. But I wanted to go up and tell her that I had a great time and just have a chew the fat, because they've been to that hotel like 8-9 times now. It's their favourite hotel. So I was like itching to go and share the news and share my exploits and just let her know that I'd really enjoyed it, because she was quite nervous. Do you know when you recommend something to someone and you think to yourself, oh, I hope they like it. I recommended it to them. What if they come back and they've had an awful time? So she was really pleased to hear that I'd had a fantastic time, and so we just talked about the hotel and shared our experiences, and because she's going in 3 weeks' time. So I was sat there and I said, it sounds really stupid because I've just come back only 2 weeks ago from the hotel, from a holiday, and I'm going to Jamaica in 7 weeks. It's not as if I've got another year to wait for a holiday, but I said to her, as silly as that sounds, I'm really jealous, because I actually want to go on another holiday, quite sharpish. I've just 7 days, a 7-day holiday for a start is not a holiday. I didn't get the most amount of sun in Turkey, and if I don't get a lot of sun, I don't feel like I've been on holiday, because I haven't. My usual holiday is just laze in the sun for a bit, have some cocktails, do a bit more lazing in the sun, spa, read, drink, eat, rinse and repeat. So some elements of my routine, such as the reading on an evening because my tablet broke, or the relaxing in the sun part of my holiday, it wasn't warm enough for me. I didn't get to do all of that kind of routine that I usually do, so I don't feel like I had a holiday. Although I really enjoyed it, I didn't feel like it was a holiday per se, as silly as it sounds. But yeah. So, yeah, Jamaica can't come quick enough. That will feel like a holiday, because I'm going with my mother, going with some friends, so there'll be lots of partying, lots of drinking involved, and lots of sun, because it's Jamaica and you're guaranteed sunshine, and it's the dry season, so it's average temperature in May in Jamaica is 32, average. Could be higher, could be lower, but more likely could be higher. So, yeah, it's going to be warm. So, looking forward to that, but yeah. Still jealous that my friend is off to the same hotel that I've just come from in 3 weeks' time, because if she could put me in a case, I'd be straight in it. Anyway, hello Blitzkrieg Raider, welcome. Stream marathons of Alan Wake coming on. I don't think there'll be marathons involved. I think we're near the end of the game. I think 2 more streams, 1 long stream maybe, and we could well be done. And that could be Saturday. I might stream if I'm not going to my friend's house on Saturday. Alan Wake will be the game that I stream, and we'll see how far we can get. I might even start at 6 and finish at 11. Do a 5-hour stream session of Alan Wake. I'll get loads of rum on my table. I went downstairs to do some tidying up earlier on, and because I still had the bottles of alcohol here, or the bottle of alcohol here, and the glass and the ice bucket from when I streamed. On Sunday. I thought, I'm sick of looking at them. So I took it all downstairs, a few days later obviously, and put it on the bar, and I thought, I wonder how many bottles of rum have I actually got on the bar? Because I know I've got a couple of bottle Morgans kicking about, a Kraken bottle kicking about. There's still at least a third of that bottle of rum that my mum got me for Christmas, and I've got at least 4 miniature bottles. So I looked at the bar, and I've got 2 bottles of Morgans, 2-litre bottles of Morgans, plus another litre bottle of Morgans that I brought back from Turkey, which isn't on the bar yet. So that's 3 bottles of Morgans. So I've got 3 bottles of Morgans, 2 bottles of Kraken, the miniatures, and the little bit of Christmas rum left. So I thought, oh, I didn't realise I had that much. So yeah, if we're streaming on Saturday, I'll bring a bottle up, crack it open, and hopefully enjoy the rest of Alan Wake with you guys. But anyway, podcasting on the way home, Marsh and I's. My holiday in Swordland was fantastic. I see the similarities. I was like, yeah, I don't like that. That won't be happening under my regime. Market traders peddling their wares onto you, not on my watch. I'd have their hands slapped. Do not harass people when they're trying to buy goods. Leave them be. Don't be putting goods in their hands as if they're, thrusting it into their hands. Don't start threatening to cut belts to size when I've said to you, I don't want it. None of that nonsense, thank you. Anyway, zip, saving it for the party stream. I need to go to Sri Lanka. Ooh, I need to go east in general. I've never been east. Well, I'm happy to east. Turkey is east, of course. That's the furthest east I've ever been. Turkey. Never been any easter than that. But yeah, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia. What else? Singapore, all them kind of countries. I do fancy them. Best way to sample them is on a cruise, of course, because you get to sample a few at a time. So I do fancy a Far Eastern cruise. It is on my agenda. At some point in my life, I'll get there. Touch wood, maybe. And then if I like any particular country Far East on the cruise, I'll just go back for a holiday. Right. Have I ever been on a cruise with MSC cruises? No, I haven't. I've seen plenty of MSC ships. They're big ships. They look pretty alright. I've spoke to people on cruises that have been on MSC and said the company's okay. No different really to any of the other big companies like your P&Os, like your Princesses, like your Royal Caribbeans. They've got this little subtle differences, but in general, the big cruise liner companies that do the big cruise ships that cater to thousands of people generally have very much the same kind of stuff going on. It's just that we've never been with MSC. I kind of stick to type. You should know that from my escapades in LPing. England, England, more England, this kind of thing. I just stick to stuff that I know. Wizards. So I stick to the same cruise companies too. You worked as a vocalist for MSC? Waiting to take back from Princess. Well, if you start working with Princess Hercupboard and you get mates rates for your friends, just let me know, because Princess Cruises is the cruise company that I have cruised with the most amount of times. We are platinum members. We have cruised with Princess the most out of any other cruise company because we really like the cruise company because it caters to the older clientele. So there's not any of these young whippersnappery type affairs. There's no water slides. There's no rock climbing walls. There's none of this bumper car stuff, ice rinks that you get with Royal Caribbean, which is all great fun. But that attracts kids. And when I tell you about my holiday in Turkey, I'm not one for kids on holiday. Kids, away from me, please. I like my holidays quiet and peaceful. So Princess caters to the older clientele, which suits me perfectly fine. The ships are a little bit smaller than the big behemoths. It catered to around about 3,000 to 3,500 people, which is a nice, happy size. The ship is big enough to enjoy several things, but not a monstrosity size that it's just you got to walk 10,000 steps just to get to one end to the other. So it's very slow paced, and just the vibe of Princess Cruises We just really like it, me and my mother. So yeah, and we've always found Princess Cruise prices pretty reasonable as well, both on board and the cruise fare itself. So yeah, they tick a lot of boxes for me, Princess. Hence why I've been with them several times, and we are looking to go on a cruise in November. Get me with my 3 holidays this year, and I kind of want to go with Princess again, but we're looking with P&O because being British and the value of the pound against the dollar, paying for drinks on the ship in pounds just works out a hell of a lot cheaper. The drinks package on P&O is cheaper. The cruise fare is cheaper. And it includes the flights as well as a package, whereas if we go with an American company, we've got to source our own flights, which adds to the expense. So doing a Caribbean cruise is just generally going to be cheaper with P&O. As much as P&O is usually my third choice cruise company out of the 3 that we do. But nonetheless, if it means that we get to see some more sun at the back end of the year when it's freezing cold, I'll grin and bear the minor irks of sailing with P&O. But anyway, they are sponsoring the Japanese Grand Prix. Okay, the Japanese Grand Prix that I won't be watching because I'm not watching F1 this season. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the whole escapade of it all. I'm really becoming very disillusioned with F1 at the moment. I really am. The whole Horner situation happened, and that was I just can't stand the man. The whole, I just can't. It's really ticking me off. Is F1 this lately? So I'm not getting up at the crack of dawn to watch it. No, I watch the ones that are reasonable time frames, like the European races. But these ones where you got to get up at 6 a.m. to watch the race. Nah, I'm not wasting my time. I'm just going to enjoy my sleep. From experience working with them, and say this with internet confidentiality, MSC are great for passengers, but not so. I think that's the case with all cruise companies, if I'm honest. It's always about the passengers, because passengers pay to come on. It's never about the staff. P&O are the same. In fact, P&O are worse, because on the American companies, we were talking to bartenders on P&O, on the last P&O ship we went on to a couple of years ago now, and they said that on the American companies, they get like 1% of all the drinks that they sell. So the waiters that run around, the servers, if they ring through drinks, they get 1% or something, whatever percent they said. I think it's about 1% of the total of the checks. So they get that. They get obviously the gratuities that you pay to go, prepaid gratuities. If you want to pay them, and we always take them off, but if you want to pay them, a percentage of those go to the staff as well. And obviously, if people tip them in the hands, which is what we do, they get that money as well. And then they get the most crappiest of wages. But they get little different income streams. And the guy that we were on, who got really pally with, bless him, he was a really nice bartender. Sorted him out with a few free cocktails, he did, bless him. He said that with P&O now, they don't do gratuities anymore. So they don't get gratuities anymore. And they'd stopped giving them a percentage of the sales as well. So they were just left with the most paltriest of wages and relying on people to tip them in their hand. It was like, oh, times really are hard. But that was because that they are trying to appeal to the customers. So by saying to the customers, you no longer have to pay gratuities. Oh, hey. Customers like, oh, that's marvellous. Yeah, excellent. You know. And it brings, cost of the fare comes down because, hey, they're not having to pay this and that and the other. But it affects the staff, of course, which is quite sad, really. Looking at cruises from the perspective of the staff, it is quite sad, to be honest with you. But anyway, right, we've chatted for long enough. Thanks for your questions, folks. Clearly, you've missed my presence. You're asking me several questions here. So we'll crack on now because I've got a country to run. I can't be distracted here. I'm going to be streaming until 8 p.m. I've got football at 9, so I've got half an hour to get myself sorted and ready and just chill out after the stream. So we've got a good couple of hours now to see how we can continue to further the prosperity of our fair nation. Please load. the game turns around to me and says, sorry, your game is no longer compatible. Your game save is no longer compatible with this version of the game. I'm going to be very angry. All I want to return is 3 Kingdoms. Oh, if you get me a discount. No, you shall wait till the 30th, the very last day of the month, till I can prolong it no longer. Yeah, there's clearly a pay hierarchy, isn't there? Well, I mean, obviously officers one level, but yeah, like entertainment staff get paid differently to the people that are performing, the vocalists, the piano players, the musicians. They get paid differently to, of course, the waiting staff, the bartender staff, and then you got the poor, what do you call them? Cabin stewards. Probably paid the least of the lot, to be fair. We always tip the cabin steward the most. Poor buggers. In and out your room every day. Used to be twice a day. But all the cruise companies we've been on since COVID have stopped their cabin stewards doing your room twice a day. They used to do your room in the morning, tidy it up, wash it out, clean it up, and they used to do it on a night time. Exactly the same. Tidy it up, clean it up. So they used to go, after you come back from breakfast, your room's sparkling. After you come back from your evening meal and your evening's affairs, your room's sparkling. It was marvellous. Whereas now, only once a day. Hey ho. But anyway, it is what it is. It's only once a day in a hotel, so it's no different there. Right, I believe in the last session we ended by striking, because I had to check this. I did check this. I thought I'll do my due diligence. Oh no, look, we've lost icons. Ooh, that's not good. We've lost icons here. Look at that. Look at the state of this. That's not a good sign, is it? We've lost a lot of icons, folks. Is this a... Oh, no. And I can't click the X to turn the thing off. Oh, we've got problems here. We've got post-DLC problems. Okay. Let's try again. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Don't do this to me again, please. Oh, no. I don't know why I'm saying this with a smile on my face. This is not funny. I've got so far into the game, and we'll try loading it again. This could be bad. Maybe if we end the turn, let it do its thing. If they've cocked this up, I'm going to be very mad. I didn't update the game version. It did it automatically. Should I roll it back? Can I possibly roll it back on Steam? I think you used to be able to roll games back, but I don't know about... No, look at this. This is really not good. So, if okay, so I'll try to avoid clicking on these icons for now. See, I can't shut it down if I open a... I can't play the game like this. Can I? Okay, so I can do it... Okay, there's a workaround. There's a workaround. If you open your city information... and then click on the news... Darkness descends. Oh, shish kebab. This is bad news, man. Oh, hang on. Failed trade negotiation. We didn't fail. We got a trade deal with Wayland, so I think... I'm not sure this is right. Unless I'm reading this wrong. No. I watched the video. We failed with... I know we failed with Agland, but what is that? Oh. Oh, we've rolled it back too far. Have we rolled it back too far? Oh, what the hell is happening here? Oh, for God's sake. 22.95. We'd already had these trade talks, right? So I think we've rolled back when we just loaded it then, didn't we? So I think we maybe rolled it back too much. I remember this. He was talking. Oh. Right. Okay. Let me get my head around this now. Can somebody Google if it's possible for us to roll the game back? That's the first thing, because if we can roll the game back, I'm not going to proceed any further with this until we can roll the game back, because this is not good. So we failed with Agnolia. Agnolia. Yeah, this was a success. We were successful with these guys, so we're going to have to try to remember what we said and follow the exact same pattern to make sure that we keep it, you know, with continuity. We can rush through this, yeah, we can. I'm more concerned about the glitches in the game. Because if we're getting little minor glitches, I mean, what else is going to be glitched? So that's what I'm saying. If we can roll the game back, then and then start again, that would be my preference, to be honest with you. I don't want to suffer any sort of hiccups here. Anyway, let's carry on. Seem to recall we went for some pastries. We saluted the soldiers. I seem to recall Victor was waiting for us. Okay, we've seen this before, and I kind of remember it vaguely. So he welcomes us. We embrace. Camera poses. Nice to see you, Mr. President. Thank you for inviting us. I can't remember what we said there. Just nice to see you, Mr. President. I offered to pay for the pastries. Aha, thank you. Let's go for a jeep tour. We salute the soldiers again. A statue. Oh, well, crazy! We're having a snowstorm. Bloody hell! Is that normal for this time of year? Mind you, I've snowed here in April before now. We go to sounds exciting. Whose statue? Whose statue? Mine, of course. Well, of course. Yeah, how silly of us. Yeah, it's also empty. They've cleared the streets down, I seem to recall. Yep, here we go. We arrive in the centre, large crowds. People very supportive of the visit, probably because you've coerced them and threatened them with painful lashings if they don't show enthusiasm. Victor the murderer. Okay, and he was taken away and beaten. Right, sun's out, lovely day for a stroll. Did we ask this? Or yeah. What's that going to happen to that poor man? Oh, that one in the crowd? He must have been a troubled fellow. You know, a bit mentally disturbed. It's nothing to worry about, Mr. President. We've got it all under control here. Okay, very good. A false representation of him in statue form. Very lifelike. I can't remember what I said here now. I think we just humoured him. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, whatever. Glad you appreciate the art. Join me for a walk and let's go get some pastries. Yes, give me 2 strudels. Yeah, give me 2 strudels. You can try the normal stuff of rolling the Steam version back. Thanks for looking, Ollie. I know you could roll the Steam version back if it was to do with like beta. You could like roll it, but with it being the full game, I'm not sure if that's even possible. Can I get Steam open whilst the game is open? Bear with me, folks. I'm gonna just check if there's an option to roll this game back. Suzerain running. Manage. Add desktop, browse local, hide it, Mac, uninstall, browse local files, like properties, updates. Always keep this game updated. Only update this. Always okay. Background downloads. Betas, yeah, the beta's the one where you can do something with it. There's not even an option to pause the updates. Launch options. Okay. No, I'm not seeing anything obvious. I think we'll just have to play and hope that once we get the game cracking on, that issue goes away. And if it doesn't, we're going to have to just put up with it for the rest of the game, which is a very unfortunate thing. What's the glitch? I'll show you the glitch in a second. Man gives us strudels. We're going to pay the street vendor for the strudels. No, he doesn't want us to pay for the strudels. He pays and then gets a photo op at every opportunity. The vendor's probably frightened to death. Okay, very good. We go into the palace, spacious, grand staircases, red carpets, and the office. Ornaments, jewel-encrusted artifacts. And we sat down on the carpet, as is customary, of course. Good job we've got good knees. Now I can take about our trade deal. So we would just nod politely, rather than be arsey and say, oh, finally, mate. Strudels, walks, statues. But before that, he claps his hands and the servants appear. Bring the quiche. And the quiche is a smoking instrument, and of course we tell him that we're not a smoker anymore because we promised our child that we would no longer smoke, or we would try to quit, and we're sticking to our word. Finest tobacco in the land, he says, and he puffs and smoke is in the room. Nonetheless, passive smoking, not as bad, but still could be an issue. Can I call you Anton? No, you flipping can't. Yes, you can. We're two presidents together here, after all. Right, Anton, tell me, what do you really think about Rumberg? A threat to the region. I think we said this. We feel this anyway. So we are an honest fella, so I imagine we will have said this. They're a threat. I agree. Threat to everyone in the region. Their time will come. Yeah, you planning something? Well, not yet. Need to solve some problems. What problems? More clapping of hands, and then the map comes out, and he points to the border. He talks about the BFF, the Bloods, causing problems in the region, getting dangerous. No, they're a problem for you as well. And we're gonna trap him in the mountains and kill them all. That's basically what he said is the plan. Cut the supplies off, trap them on the mountains. Operation Bear Trap. What do you want from me? It's coming back to me now. He grins and lays down on the large pillar. Takes a big puff of his pipey thing. I will give you objectively the best trade deal in the region. You will give me your assistance in crushing these terrorists on both of our borders. Any specifics? Sure. My spies have infiltrated BFF cells and they found caches of KA-74s traced back to Rumberg, and we know this is true. And similar shipments are going to Swordland, and we know this is true. Okay, and the mountains have been used as a pass between the two regions. More than likely. And if we don't act and trap them, they will keep replenishing and they'll keep basically causing us grief. Yeah, but you've probably got a point. He speaks the truth. What are we going to get in return? No tariff agreement, co-investment in projects and oil, and we destroy the militants. Okay, right. Why would you offer me so much? What kind of support do you need from me? Can't remember what I asked here. I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you. Why offer so much? I want Swordland to be Valen's friend. Do you also want Valen as yours? I'm supposed to him with this operation. I took a moment to think about it, and then we said no deal, too risky. I'm afraid I can't accept it. Or did I actually... I think this option would probably have been the best one. Negotiate. Negotiate our contribution. I have to check my phone, I'm afraid, this evening, because I'm playing football, so I've had no update on if the game is even going ahead, and with the amount of cancellations we've had recently. And I must be honest with you, if they were to turn around to me and send a message, say, oh, you know, football's cancelled this evening, I won't be unhappy. Because I'm getting a little bit. This is the first time in my entire life that I'm beginning to become I'm beginning to get a little bit disillusioned with football at the moment. The amount of cancellations that are happening. On a Tuesday when I play, we never have a regular team. It's just a team of ringers. I turn up, and it's a different team every time. And I'm like, I really cannot be bothered with this. Playing with random Joes every Tuesday is not what I signed up for. If we can't get a regular team, I'd rather just not bother playing on a Tuesday. I've got other things that I can be doing with my time. I enjoy football, but I don't enjoy that kind of carry-on. I certainly don't enjoy having football cancelled more than half the time over the past 2 months. And then on Thursday, not that I'm a sour person, but we're second from bottom. Last season we won the title. This season we're second from bottom. The hell's happened? So I'm turning up on a Thursday like, I really can't be bothered. Really can't be bothered. Because again, Thursday, we're not getting a regular team. One of our players is out permanently now. He got injured his ankle. He says he's not going to play football anymore, so we've lost one player there. Other players aren't coming down as regular as they used to do. So again, even on a Thursday, when we had a regular team last season and we won the title this season, everybody can't be bothered. So I'm like, so I go on a Thursday. So I find myself going to football, and I'm just like, really can't be bothered. I've never been like that before. Never. Always loved going to football. Always looked forward to playing football. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. I have actually considered, at the back of my mind, is it time? My room is littered with trophies of team and individual accolades. I'm not getting any younger. How many more trophies do I need to win? How many more league titles do I need to win and player of the seasons before I knacker me knees and ankles up completely? At some point, I'm going to have to jack it in. But when is that point? And perhaps the point is when you can't be bothered to play anymore, or you're not enjoying it. I suppose it's a good place to start. Don't want to retire from football at 40, but what would I replace it with exactly? Well, this is the thing. I wouldn't necessarily stop playing football. I'll probably just stop playing league football, because there's a football game on a Wednesday. It's only friendly, kick about, but it's fun. You play with mates. You still get a run around. There's a football game on a Thursday. That's a friendly kick about. I can put my name down for that. There's a football game on a Monday occasionally that I get asked to play when they're short. I can ask them to put me down, more regularly on that. I can play football. It just doesn't have to be league football. I can still get my steps in, get my exercise in. Kick about with some mates. I say that, and it's never the same intensity, is it? But at least I still get to play. It's not as if I'm going to have to take up lawn bowls or something. But anyway, it's probably just me having a bit of a lull and a bit of a downtime. Sunday's still going pretty well. Still top of the table, undefeated, 5 wins out of 5. So maybe I should just grin and bear it and ride this low period for a little bit. But anyway, and I've just started a 30-day, I can never say this word properly, calisthenics challenge thing on YouTube. So yeah, I'm doing. I thought I've done Insanity since I was 20, since I was 30. I started when I was 30, so I've done Insanity for 10 years. And after 10 years of doing it, I'm thinking to myself, I'm getting a bit bored with Insanity now. After 10 years, I've done Insanity for 10 years. I'm getting a bit bored. I want to try a different routine. So I found this calisthenics challenge, 30-day challenge thing, where you just obviously, it's very similar to Insanity. You use your own body weight and stuff, do different repetitions of various kind of exercises. So I thought, we'll give that a try. Give that a try for a change. Changing it up a bit. Anyway. Inconsistency is the thing. As you know, I like things exactly as they should be and exactly as they always are, which is playing with a regular team and winning things. Ever tried bouldering? Oh, I don't like heights. So that's not good for me. If that's what bouldering is climbing, right? Climbing up boulders. It's not rolling boulders down into skittles or something. Right, anyway, let's negotiate. You are a tough one. I seem to remember him saying this, so I think that's the one we picked last time. Here's my final offer, final answer, to quote Chris Tarrant of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire fame. I wonder what's happened to Chris Tarrant nowadays. He must be like in his 70s now. Obviously he's retired from TV, I imagine. Probably looks really haggard and old nowadays. I've not seen him for years. He's not dead, is he? Shouldn't joke about these things. When operation starts with you or without you, there will be stragglers trying to cross into Swordland. We just want you to support the operation even if you don't join. Stop the terrorists from fleeing into your country and you will have your deal. Okay, so that's good. So we negotiated not to be part of the culling in the mountains, but if they come into our land, we'll do something about it. That's a bit better, yes, we like that. What do you think? Deal. I clicked it by mistake, but it's the right answer. Deal. I knew we could trust you. Tonight we will drink vodka. Clapped his hands. Dancers, music, drinks, festivities of smoke, plumes of smoke, people smoking pipes all over the place, but coughing and spluttering, and all was good. And we had a serious hangover. There we go. Ping, 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 pong, ping, pingy, 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 pingy. Right. Okay. So this is the issue that we've got. The issue that we've got is that the icons aren't showing properly. And if we click on city information, none of the icons are showing, and we can't shut the windows down from here. So we have to click on news and then shut it that way instead. And the news said, Swordland ratified a new trade agreement with Valen. Oh, good. Right, I'm definitely sure that we read this last time before we ended the stream, so we won't even go here. Defend the borders against the BFF, trade with Valen. Trade, tariff-free oil trade with Valen. And if we haven't seen all of these last session, it's tough because I'm skipping through them so we can at least get to the next turn and see if that solves our problems because it's really bugging me. I'm going to write to the company, the developers. How dare you break this game? Do you not think people have got so far through in their playthroughs that they want to continue without it being broken? Tarrant is 77. Oh, cool. But he's not dead. Bless him. So I was right with his age. I did say it must be in his 70s. He was really good on Millionaire. He was the face of Millionaire when it was in its peak. He was Mr. Saturday Night. Right. He just had that. I don't know. Ever since he left Millionaire, it was never the same. I mean, Clarkson's not too bad, but he's a kind of a Marmite character, is Clarkson. You either love him or you hate him. You know, very few people are like, oh, I'm a bit indifferent with him. Usually it's like one or the other. I'm in the camp that really likes the guy. I think he's hilarious. He puts his foot in it occasionally, but hey, at least he speaks his mind. I'd rather have somebody speak their mind than be, you know, sly, underhanded kind of person. Right, anyway, let's continue on. I feel like we've done a lot of talking, a lot of flim-flamming, and a lot of moaning about deals, about broken things. Let's just press on like nothing's happening. On the plus side, look at our growth. We've turned it around. Speech of... Oh, that was how we ended it. Yes, we were about to give a speech in the Grand National Assembly on reforms. And we love giving speeches. We love it. Centre stage, on a plinth, on a platform, on a lectern. All eyes on us. Maroon suit, or is it burgundy? Hat. I love it. Oh, ask the host option. That is, yeah, I saw that. I've not watched Millionaire for many a year. I don't watch game shows. If I was to watch a game show nowadays, my favourite game show, I've stopped watching The Chase after being on it. Been there, done that now. But I really like, I've watched it once. Only ever once I've watched it. And I watched it when I had nothing else to do, because I was in a hotel room after a meeting at work, and obviously I stayed overnight, and we were going back to the meeting for the second day, and I'm like, well, that's the only time I watch TV, is when I'm in a hotel room with work. And I was flicking through the channels, and just starting up, and people have talked to me about this game show, and even at football, because obviously all my football mates and all the people down at football know that I've been on The Chase, and so they always get asked, are you going to any more game shows? Like I'm some kind of serial game show person. You say, oh, you did really well on the chase. You clearly got good general knowledge. Why don't you do some more game shows? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm done. I didn't want on the chase because I wanted to go on the bloody chase. I'm not interested in any other game show, Tipping Point, all the rest of that crap. But the one show that I watched for the first time was the 1% Club. And the 1% Club, I watched it. I thought I'll watch it. It's on TV. I've got nothing else better to do than see what people are happy on about. I was like, oh, I actually really like this. So, I can't remember which episode it was, but the 1% Club's questions are all very... I liken them to Mensa questions. They're questions that you would ask somebody taking an IQ test, because they're very there's lots of logical based questions. They're not testing your kind of general knowledge. They're testing your ability to deduce, look at patterns and sequences. It's all very kind of IQ based questions. That's what they look like to me. I've done many IQ tests in my time, just for fun. And I'm quite good, believe it or not, considering I hate puzzles, by the way. I'm usually very good, pretty good, I'd say. I won't blow my own trumpet, at kind of those type of questions. So on this one particular episode of the 1% Club, I thought, I'll play along. I like as I do with most game shows. And I'm telling you no word of a lie, I swear to whoever I need to swear to, that I got every question right. And I was like, it's now the 10% question. Only 10% of the people got this question right. Okay, this will be tough then. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's answer C, that. Or whatever it was. And lo and behold, it was. I'm like, these aren't been very difficult questions. Some of them require to be quite quick because there's a time limit and you've got to do a little bit of calculation. So yeah, I was like, oh. And some of the questions were really... I'll give you one of the questions. Sorry, this is me catching up. This is me catching up stream, chatting to you guys, not doing much playing. One of the questions was, I can't remember the precise nature of the question, but it was to do with the fact that Billy goes out to play and he gets called in at 5:30. For the rest of the week, he gets called in half an hour earlier. Every day, so Tuesday it'd be half past whatever, it'd be 5 o'clock, blah de blah de blah. But on Saturday the clocks go forward, and so what time does Billy come in? And I was like, well, the clock's going forward doesn't really make a difference to the time, does it? It's the time that matters, not that the clocks have gone forward. It's the time. If he's coming in at 5 o'clock. And the clocks have gone forward, on Sunday he's still coming in at 5 o'clock. It seemed very easy and logical, and this was like the 20% question or something ridiculously high. And then lo and behold, it knocked out like 3/4 of the people that were left. 3/4 of the people, poof, off they went, and I was like, oh, you fell for the trick that you've added on extra hour because the clocks went forward. What? How has that tripped you up? Anyway, so I was really bamboozled. But anyway, one woman got to the 1% question. She got every question right. And I got every question right. I was like, this is not a difficult show. Either I got very lucky with these questions or I'm missing a trick here. Anyway, the 1% question, that was a different level because I didn't get that right. I didn't get the 1% question right. That was a different level. But... no, it was. I thought, oh, but the moral of the story was game show. Yes, 1% Club. I actually quite liked it. I might actually apply. After all these times, my mates, people at football. Oh, why don't you go 1% Club? Why don't you go this? Oh, don't be ridiculous. This time next year, on Facebook, might want to keep her eye on ITV. 8 o'clock Saturday night. I asked you if you were going to go on that. You said no. Well, I changed my bloody mind, didn't I? Love Island. Oh, I'd love it there. Oh, I love it on Love Island. Good grief, I'd be sent out within days. Ooh, the plastic people that go on that show, they get a piece of my flipping mind. I'm telling you. Right, let's give a speech. Okay, no more talking now. It's ridiculous. I can hear banging downstairs. What's going on? As in, like somebody's hammering something into a wall. My mother's not doing DIY. She's either cooking something and beating it with a hammer. More plastic than human. It's really annoying me. Yeah, she's in the kitchen. She's in the kitchen. Right, come on, this is very important now. I kind of feel like when I was in Turkey, I should have bought myself a hat. Purple rimmed hat. Maybe even just a brown hat, and I could have put a purple sash around it. I've got some purple fabric. Look, I've got the perfect coloured fabric for this. Where is it? Where are you? Oh, that's good. Oh, I can't, please. Look at them all. Dun dun dun. Oh, we can't. Yeah, it's autosave only. Right, yeah. Look at this. This colour, it looks kind of blackish, but it's, I assure you, it's a burgundy purpley colour. I could kind of like, you know, put it around my head. You know. Let's go for it, let's go with it. This is me without a drink. How do we do this? Look. I've got to colour coordinate, you know, with Mr. Burgundy here. Come on. Let's get it done. If I can't get a hat, I'll have to just make do with a makeshift do-rag. Look at that. Right, we're going to carry on. I came to the Grand National Assembly of Swordsland to deliver a speech regarding the new constitution and ask for the support of the Assembly before the upcoming vote. Imagine somebody joins the stream right now. What the hell's happened to you? That's a criminal. Let's join the chat. Right. I walk quickly through the corridors. I don't know how you manage people at work. This is how I manage people at work. This is why people love me at work. People, I'm not to say this, people are genuinely, when they leave my management, are very, very sad. Because I'm like the most chilled out, most fun manager. To the point where, okay, this is allowable, by the way. One of my team retired last year. Last week, sorry. One of my team retired last week. She's been on the team for a few years, and I organised a collection for her. People put into the collection. I bought her some gifts with the money, and then put them under a desk when she went to the toilet. She came back. She was like, "Oh my God, look at all this! Surprise!" And part of the surprise was a bottle of wine. So she opened all the presents, and there was a cake in there. So I bought a knife as well. So I cut the cake, and she shared the cake out with everybody. And then she came to me, kind of the side of the desk, and she said, in the office, she said, "Can we open this bottle of wine?" And I said, "Ooh, Jane, ooh." I said, "It's manager's discretion if you open alcohol in the office." I said, "Crack it open." And pour me a glass, will you? So we had some wine. That's the kind of person I am. One of these stuck-up people. No, you're gonna look, you're at work a long time, right? You're gonna have a bit of fun, aren't you? Within the bounds of the policy and the guidance and all that. Anyway, right, carry on. So we're delivering this speech. We walk quickly through the corridors, giving my greetings to the people. Waving. What's that on your head? Nothing. When I entered the hall, the assembly was in complete chaos. Shouting, cursing. There was a heavy argument about a proposal made by an MP from the NFP. Who's this? Gloria Tory. I took my seat inside the special area reserved for the ministers. Gloria was shouting from her seat at the centre of the hall as she hit the gavel 3 times, with each strike heavier than the one before. Order! Order! See? I know it, I know politics. Order in the chamber. I saw Cassaro Kibbuner standing up from his seat and shouting towards members of the PIFGIB. Mr. Kibbuner, calm yourself. Show respect to the procedures of this assembly. Despite her efforts, the argument continued for a couple of minutes before everybody took back to their seats and finally went quiet. Mr. Kibbuner, next time when I tell you to do so, either take your seat or leave the hall so we can proceed with the procedures of this assembly and continue our duties. Some MPs from the NFP side shouted back at her in protest. Honourable ladies and gentlemen, if you allow me to continue. She pointed at me. We have the President here with us today. He is asked to give an important announcement. The assembly fell silent. You have the floor, Mr. President. How the hell? I'm just looking at myself. You have the floor, Mr. President. I walked to the stand as loud clapping started in the USP side. Okay, speech time. We do well in speeches, generally speaking. Last one was not met with the greatest enthusiasm, though, I seem to recall. Honourable members of the Assembly, brothers and sisters. Yeah, not today. Keeping things formal. Honourable members of the Assembly. I am here today to raise important questions regarding our outdated constitution. I don't know if we get to ask all of these, or no. This is the one that we seem to remember that we are lowering the threshold, right? And the NFP were against this, and they're already kicking off. So this is like kind of stoking the fire and stirring the hornet's nest. Perhaps we're feeling a bit mischievous today. Our election threshold has harmed our democracy more than anything. Since the formulation of our republic. As USP, we have governed for a long time, and I can acknowledge that this success was partly the result of our current 10% threshold. 10% threshold. You don't need the symbol and the word, do you? I continued. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Historic changes and bring it to the standards of today's world. No, we'll go with democratic era. Therefore, we propose changes to the Constitution to prepare Swordland for a more democratic era. Applause from the USP. Applause from the PIFGIB. We will rebalance the branches of government to ensure a more democratic process. I focus on unity, change, peace, unity, togetherness. That's been our mantra from the start, hasn't it? Change as well, but no, unity. We need, yeah, we'll continue that strap line. It is more important than ever that we stand united as a nation in these changing times. I call everybody to be part of that change that our people has been calling for. We all want to make Swordland better, don't we? Let's embrace democracy and unite under the banner of our people, and surely Swordland will be great again. This reminds me of my dream last night. Don't ask me why or how this came into my dream state, but I had a dream last night about the American elections and Donald Trump. And Yeah, it was really bizarre. But somebody was trying to assassinate him because he was clearly going to win the election. And people were happy. So somebody, I can't. It's just, you know how dreams are very random and you can't quite piece together. It doesn't make a continual flow. But basically, the crux of the dream was that somebody was trying to assassinate Donald Trump just before the elections were due to start. A very strange dream. Anyway, there you go. We will make Swordland great again. Loud noises came from the USP and NFP seats. Not cheers, noises. Oh dear. Regardless, we shall plough on. Ladies and gentlemen of the Assembly, we must set aside our differences. Be part of a new era for Swordland. Join us and vote for our proposal. Let's write the future together. Finish with a poem. I think we finished with a poem last time and it didn't really go down too well. Salute. We could salute, but no, do you know what? No. We've got the lectern. We'll finish with a poem. And now I finish with a poem. There is a victory growing with every morning. There is my country beyond everything, my beloved. There is a spring that blossoms out of the graves of our fallen. Quite apt, people have died here. Bernard Circus. I don't want to mention the word defeat because it almost sounds like what if this constitution is defeated? It doesn't matter because there's a victory after it. no, but not a heavenly person either. Fear not when the dark falls. There is an artist painting the sun. Metaphoric. Maybe we are the artist. And the sun is Swordland's future. Beyond the next morning, there is a victory waiting to be won. That's quite a nice poem, actually. Let me write it down and publish it. How did you make your millions? Well, I took it from the game. Plagiarised it. Too flowery for my taste. The Assembly roared with all kinds of different reactions. At least we got on thinking. Oh, hey, the whole of the party stood up and started applauding. That's a good sign. Thank you for the speech, Mr. President. I walked back to my seat as many MPs asked to speak. Friends Richter was among them. Yes, Mr. Richter. Thank you, Mrs. Speaker. I would like to thank Mr. President for his speech. We, the People's Freedom and Justice Party, stands in agreement with the need for a more democratic constitution. I would like to thank the ladies and gentlemen of the United Swordland Party for their more open attitude compared to past years. As long as Mr. President's words prove not to be just words, we will be behind this much-needed movement for change. We welcome this attempt. I ask Mr. President to share the final contents of this proposal as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Suddenly, Kasaru Kibuna started yelling from his seat. The President must have lost his mind to cooperate with the likes of you, Mr. Richter. You and the PFJP are nothing but puppets of Western interests. Order! Madam Speaker, I know you are in agreement with me as well. Don't stand idly there while this administration is making deals with snakes and undermine the integrity of Order, Mr. Kibbener! How many times do I need to say? You are speaking out of I demand to speak. Gloria gave him a stare. She looked annoyed. Very well, Mr. Kibbener. Go ahead. Mr. President. He looked directly at me. I remained unmoved. The nationalist movement does not agree with your priorities, nor the way you're trying to implement them. The National Front Party will not stand with you on your new constitution. Let it be known that the NFP's concerns are not included in this so-called democratic reform. Thus, Mr. President has no right to claim them as such. We will stand our ground against any attempt to bring down our established political culture and national values. Thank you. Kazara went back to his seat, but the chaos in the assembly continued. Excuse me, Miss Speaker. Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Ooh, who do we address? Do you know what? We'll address the guy that's causing the scene here. Mr. Kibbener. I looked at him. I am saddened to hear about your opposite stance. He watched as he slouched on his seat, legs crossed. Ooh. Well, it's falling on deaf ears, I feel, but hey. Do not stand against change, Mr. Kibbener. Be part of it. Embrace it. We can do much more together. Ooh. I mean, it's true. We probably have enough votes, to be fair. But would we be so... I don't think we would in the open assembly. Or maybe we would. No, that's going to could bring about more drastic measures, perhaps. Your time has passed. Oh dear. I expect your support. No, do you know what? We'll leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. We just wanted to have the final word, you know. Thank you. Glory looked at me to see if I finished my response. And Mr. Richter. I looked at him. Rest assured, your concerns will be addressed. What concerns? I think his concerns were basically that we follow through with our actions. So, do you know what? Rest assured, your concerns will be addressed. Thank you for your support. We are looking forward to working with the PFJP. Glory looked at me to see if I finished my response. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And then we exit stage left. MPs shouting behind us, responding to each other, creating loud mess. Just a hubbub of noise. Order! Order! This topic is finished. We are moving on to our next topic. We leave the din behind us. Like animals in a bloody bear pit. What the hell's happening here? Right, we still got a situation with the symbols, unfortunately. But hey, right, news items. Rain! Our election threshold has harmed our democracy. President Rain has called on the Grand National Assembly of Swordland to support the upcoming constitutional changes in his address in his parliament. The President's address came after a series of meetings within the USP, which probably involved discussions about the new constitution. President Rain talked about the main points of their proposed changes and revealed that the current draft will be looked over again with the leaders of the PIF before it is proposed in the parliament. Okay. Yeah, so just reporting on our speech there. Walker warns Valgslandian Navy over Helgoland dispute. Agnolian Valgsland tensions continue to rise. Ooh, Valgslandian ships are starting to advance on the perimeter around the island. Ooh. Agnolian battleship had intercepted a Valgslandian destroyer and warned them to move out of the waters. Agnolian waters, that is. Ooh, a bit of a standoff. Ooh. Dwight Walker, Arcasian president, warned the Valgslandian Navy, saying, "We will not tolerate any attempts to trigger an incident on international waters. I call upon Mr. Hegel, pull back your ships immediately." Oh dear. Pull back your ships. What report? Reform status. 142 signatures. We need 150. Oh, hang on. Come on. What's going on here? We want 150 people. Whalen borders have been closed and the army, the Third Army, is ready for operation. Operation Beat Down Blue Rebels. Oh dear. Right, here we go. Wealth of Nations. Ooh. Our growth line is still looking decent. Yeah, still got the glitches, unfortunately. Right. News items. Oh no. The papers have reset, possibly. I don't know. Economists. Boosting the economy. Central Bank Reinforcement Act. The Central Bank Reinforcement Act is poised to bolster the strength and stability of our national currency and the overall economy. With provisions for accumulating foreign exchange reserves, adopting a prudent fiscal policy and supporting high export potential industries, the Act presents a well-rounded approach to economic resilience. By fostering a stable economic environment, the Act could spur foreign investment and improve our credit rating. As the Grand National Assembly moves forward with this Act, the eyes of investors, both domestic and foreign, will undoubtedly be on Swordland. And health requires more resources. Okay. The threat of a potential epidemic. So basically, they need more money, which we don't have. We're not privatising the healthcare, so forget about it. Right, the hidden power of men in uniform. No political leader in Swordland can survive in office without some support from the General Staff. President Artur Wishi was a leader who learned this lesson the hard way. In 1927, a military coup brought an end to his short time as president, and later, President Alfonso became a target of alleged conspiracies by the Old Guard, who are known to be very close to the General Staff of the Swordish Armed Forces. We happen to have ticked off the Old Guard, and we happen to have ticked off the General Staff as well. So, yeah. Is this a warning? Though nowadays fewer officers assume the role of political leaders, military influence continues to have major repercussions in politics across eastern Macopa. According to a report by the Alliance of Nations, Swordland has one of the most influential militaries in the region, coming just behind Valen, where the actions of the generals indicate serious military interference in politics. As the reports show, men in uniform still enjoy considerable influence on politics of Swordland, and nothing is being done to reverse the situation despite the country's history of coups and civil war. Now, we did say that was going to be one of our priorities, to lessen their grip on things, but we haven't really had an option to do that. I mean, we've underfunded them a little bit. That could help. As well as harm in other areas. Riese and Rumberg sign economic cooperation deal. Rumberg gains naval base rights. Okay. In Riese. Oh dear. So Riese will benefit from Rumberg's military expertise and advanced technology. We're in good standing with Riese to some degree. They've invested in our gas, so I mean that could be helpful. Governor Bronn proposes dividing up communities in Bergia. He's reported increased Bludish Freedom Front support in Bludish-dominated neighbourhoods in Deir and in all Bergia. He wants to divide these communities and resettling Swordish and Bludish people to achieve a cultural balance in the special zone. Yeah, some officials claim these measures would be against the constitution. Oh dear. This guy needs bringing down a peg or two, I feel. You're asking me. Oh, hang on! The opening of the highway. Oh, I just clicked it. I didn't think we were going to advance. Sorry about that. Arriving in Leshaven for the grand opening of the H3 highway was a proud moment for all of us. We got there in the end to get them out of Dodge occasionally, but they got there in the end, did the company that we picked. Oh, we can get that on the top. Oh, can we still read stuff? Oh. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Van Horten wins elections again. The man who tried to twist our arm up our back, we weren't having any of it. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Right, good. Oops. Right. Arriving in the Shaven for the grand opening. Simon and Lilius, who heavily assisted in the project, were with me, along Lucian, to decide on how to proceed tomorrow. Oh, we're having a planning meeting. Lucian stands up. First of all, congratulations everyone. Too many projects like this, or too many more projects like this, apologies. Well done. Yes, you were a hindrance, Lilius, more than a help, I would say, but hey, here we are. Yes, good work everyone. I'm going to go over the top here. Indeed. Let's move on to our plans for the opening tomorrow. It's been a long time since the last successful infrastructure project. There is good reason to capitalise on the occasion. I have a plan on how to do that. If Mr. President accepts, a drive from Leshaven to Arvery should do the trick. After the motorcade takes off, the road will be open to the public. What are your thoughts? A nice drive on the brand new highway, perhaps we're the first car to officially make the trip. Sounds perfect. I don't support anything beyond the opening ceremony. Actions speak for themselves. Involving the President could be beneficial for his image. I think so too. Mr. President? No, I agree. I quite like the idea. Plus, I just want to take a ride on the new highway. Call me selfish. Very well. Sounds good. It would display unity and strength if we were all together in the convoy. Additionally, a large crowd is invited for the ceremony and will be watching the opening speech. Well, as long as everybody's happy, there's nothing like a cheerful crowd. Should be a good day. Just hope we get the weather for it. I think all of us do. Simon stepped in for a comment. On another note, it goes without mentioning that this was a team effort. Beginning with the President who put trust in me, I want to thank all involved in H3. Ah, thank you very much for your kind words, Simon. Means a good deal. But don't forget yourself. It was you who came up with the project. Ah, finally people got what they wanted for a long time. We will need to show our best face tomorrow. I'll make sure that our focus on improving business and logistics is relayed to wherever necessary. All right then. We have a lot of work to do tomorrow. See you in the morning. See you at the ceremony. Okay, big day tomorrow. The next day a stage had been erected next to the entrance of the highway in the downtown. The calm and warm weather created a positive mood in the usually breezy Leshaven. The crowd was large, but still smaller than some rallies due to the strong Pifjib presence here. We began moving toward the stage as the excitement was growing. Signal Lucian to begin the ceremony. Perhaps not go in an open-top car. Oh, good grief. Well, that's one way to end the LP, isn't it? We were all ready to begin the ceremony. I gave the green light, and the opening address began. Brothers and sisters of Swordland, I welcome you, Leshaveners, today as a proud servant of this country. Lucian's voice echoed in the square next to the highway. Hundreds of Swordland and USP flags began to wave as the cheers intensified. Without further ado, I invite the President of Swordland to the stage. And up we go. That's another speech. The press were taking dozens of pictures, as they do. People of Swordland, again, you know. Yeah, Leshaveners, but country first and all that. And there could be other people that have come from far and wide, you never know. Welcome to the opening ceremony of the H3 Highway. The chanting from the crowd continued. At the beginning of this journey, we promised jobs and opportunity. And we have kept our promise. Ooh, what was our primary reason? People power. We'll go with the people side of things. An intention, one of our intentions, was to serve our citizens who were having a hard time travelling between Leshaven and Avery. But this highway also brings thousands of new jobs. Many unemployed citizens will have benefited and will continue to benefit on the path of this brand spanking new highway. Please come over here. Oh, hang on. You can only bring one over. Well, Lilius, she was a thorn in our side, constantly moaning about the old days. Oh, you should have used the government, state, whatever the hell the company was called. Doom and gloom merchant. We have to thank the mind of the mind behind the project. The esteemed Minister of Economy and Tax, Simon Hall. Simon, come over here. Simon walks up. Thank you, Mr. President. Our aim with this project is obvious, to improve the speed and efficiency of transportation. I'm sure each one of you will be proud of the achievements made during the project once we cut that ribbon, and you can drive or travel on the highway yourselves. Simon mentioned the beginning of a Swordish economic recovery and the plans to stop the recession altogether. After he was done with his speech, Lucian took Simon's place on the stage to close the ceremony. But she's going to have a thromby here. Stood there. Citizens of Leshaven, There you have it. As promised, Anton Rain, the 4th President of Swordland, has delivered. We moved towards the entrance of the highway next to the stage. A 40-metre-long red ribbon was hanging over it. Simon gave me a pair of large scissors to commence the opening. The crowd was watching. And I cut the ribbon, which led to a huge wave of cheering from the crowd. Many flashes went off at the same time. Congratulations to all. It was a solid and fruitful effort, hopefully with much more to come. It's a good moment indeed. It gives us pride as a nation, one big step behind us. Your car is prepped and ready. The drive to Arvery should take about 4 hours, and the rest of the motorcade will follow you. Ooh, we enter the car. Sit on the driver's seat. The crowd was trying to catch a glimpse of me sitting in the front. Who do you want to travel with, Mr. President? Lucian? Get in. That's our bloody chess buddy here. Get in, Lucian. Thank you, Mr. President. It'll be a good journey to talk about the reforms and our efforts to pass both the Assembly and the Court. As we began driving out of the opening ceremony area and into the new highway, the media took pictures of me and Lucian, who looked serious. The new highway was in pristine condition and quality. It was the best driving experience one could have nowadays, while providing the best traction and least noise. After the relaxing 4-hour drive, after several coffee stops hopefully, we were welcomed by celebratory citizens and Mayor Eric Neal. The highway officially opened to the public and thousands began utilising it as soon as we left the area. Today was a great victory for the administration. We get an achievement for opening the highway. Whoa, 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 what's all of this? Ooh, that's signified some change. Population updated. We can't see, because we can't see the status anymore. I mean, that could be an issue. That could hinder us going forward, couldn't it? What if we need to see something here? President Rain opens H3 Highway. With a grand ceremony, President Rain has declared the H3 Highway open with his aides by his side and executives from Taurus Holding. After the ribbon cutting, he has delivered a heartfelt speech and brought attention to the capabilities of the administration. Following the opening speech, President Rain has driven his own car on the new highway for the first time. The H3 Highway is expected to boost the output of the Agland region, and it has been happily welcomed by the citizens. Woohoo, look at that. Look at that. Right, there's nothing else going on down there. We have something happening in Holsword, but let's take a look at what's changed. Right then, economy, policies, H3 Highway. Linking Swordland's largest international port with the city of Arvery, a significant milestone in improving the country's logistical infrastructure. Enhances efficiency of goods and also facilitates trade and connectivity between the regions. Very good indeed. I wonder if it was possible for us not to succeed in opening the highway. I reckon there will have been a way, because if we couldn't afford, for example, to fund what was required, then perhaps there was a chance for it to fail. Average transportation links, that's obviously improved from poor, I think it must have been previously. But there's still some work to be done on that front. Is that it? Yeah, most of the other stuff will probably link to towns, but we can't see anything in the towns anymore, so never mind. Right, Holsword, here we go. Got some reports, and a meeting with our Ministry of Defence. Always goes down well, doesn't it? General Staff gathers. Ooh, hang on. More than 20 high-ranking officers were in attendance and discussed several war plans and the overall state of the armed forces. Oh dear. And they're still harping on about this privatisation of the health. sector. Concerned about an epidemic. I think we might be about to be ambushed or threatened. What gives you that impression, Hurt Cupboard? Don't be so negative. Okay, Iosif, what do you want? I arrived at the cubic building that housed most of the military command that resided in Hallsword. The grey and brutalist structure looked daunting. I never liked this building. It always made me feel like I was standing under the concrete foot of a giant getting ready to crush me. It made me feel small, and I never quite got used to the feeling even after this many years. At the entrance I was greeted by Iosif and his military entourage of young officers. Welcome to the Ministry of Defence, Mr. President. Let's go to my office. We walked from corridor to corridor to reach the office. On the way, we were met with high-ranking officers as well as privates. Every time one of these soldiers saw me, they stopped and saluted. When we finally arrived at Iosif's office, his entourage saluted us and left. He closed the door and took a seat. This must be something serious, Iosif, seeing as you have invited me specially here. It is important that you don't get misinformed on this matter. Vulcan has another agenda. He leaned back and interlocked his hands. The situation with Rumberg is getting worse, and our lack of funding in the military means that we would fight for survival in a war scenario. The Kruger fortification lining construction should help us in the defense of the mountainous and hilly provinces, and at the worst case, delay a potential advance. Okay. Do we have any options in improving the situation? That doesn't involve money? We are making all the necessary preparations, but any substantial military support from other nations would be a welcome deterrent against Rumberg. Alliances. Maybe we could work on that. As a result of the recent deal with Valen, we have started reinforcing the border. Forward scouts have been deployed and we have started moving our divisions. Rest assured, we are ready for anything that will come from the other side of the border. We will be providing our reports to you. Ooh, interesting. Interesting tact. Be lenient if possible. There may simply be people trying to escape war. They're not. Ooh. I mean, it's true. They're not. Everybody that crosses that border is not going to be a gun-wielding mercenary BFF member, are they? This is our, when he was our boss, he told us off for this attitude. But hey, do you know what? We're the boss now. It kind of almost feels like, role reversal. I'm telling you, this time, that we will be lenient. Alright? The roles have reversed now, Mr. Lancer. You know what I'm going to say? It could open us. I don't want to jeopardize the trade deal, though. Kind of don't want to. If we start letting them in, does that go against our deal with Valen? It's probably not the best. I kind of feel that this is. I also don't want to. I don't want to go down that line either. It's too harsh. Do you know what? We'll just say this one. I don't think we'll have any problems. I don't know what gives us that impression. But do you know what? Just stay alert. Assess the situation. I'll leave it in your capable hands. It's ending at 8 o'clock. We are always ready for any situation, Mr. President. let's move on to our main topic. The mandatory conscription law has become a matter of discussion, and we need to strike a decision whether to keep it or remove it. The facts are that the conscription gives us a large reservist pool that can cover a larger front line, but these troops lack the morale and quality to be offensive elements. My argument would be to remove conscription if our military can stand on its own 2 feet without them. If we are going to have strong allies, why do we need conscripts? A strong knock on the door, jolts us into, oh, what the hell, was heard, and the Chief of Armed Forces, Vulcan Kruger, walked in, quickly with a frown. What is the meaning of this, Iosif? Why haven't I been invited? What is going on here? You are overstepping and interrupting a personal meeting between me and the President. Vulcan deliberated the situation. Ah, I see what is going on here. I mean no disrespect, but I am leading the ground operations and I must be informed of any strategic changes. Ah, well, Vulcan, now that you are here, what is your opinion on conscription? The matter is rather simple from my point of view. We kept to our traditional army doctrine. It is not devoid of disadvantages. However, at the end of the day, Rumberg has a larger army, air force and navy. Our conscripts will fill the much-needed weaknesses we have. Oh, this is a flipping debate. This is a debate, isn't it? Conscription or not? We don't have strong allies, and we don't necessarily have the greatest funded army. And it's not a modern approach, is it, conscription? I mean, obviously some countries still have conscription, of course, but it's not really a modern thing. This is a modern age that requires a modern army. But given that we have... we take away the conscripts. If we'd have funded the military and got allies, we could have got rid of conscripts quite happily. But we've underfunded the army, and we haven't got any allies, unless you count Valen as an ally. So we kind of are stuck, almost between a rock and a hard place. Oh yeah, still done, but it's not a common practice anymore, is it? Generally speaking, but it's going to have to be common practice here, unfortunately, because we really don't have a choice in the matter. So we're just going to say that, I mean, as much as it's worked for decades, it doesn't mean it should continue to be that way. But basically, there is a place for reservists, and especially given our current predicament. Sorry, Iosif, nothing personal, but, you know, we just don't have the capabilities to get rid of them at the moment. So we're going to have to keep the conscription law as it is. Mr. President, we need to prioritize quality over quantity. Your final decision, Mr. President. So this is one of those situations where, if we were to remove it, would we get options? How would we prioritize quality? You know, if I could see the clear path as to what removing it would give us in terms of, you know, well, you're going to fund that, you're going to do this, you're going to improve that there, then I could almost see why we would do it, but I can't see that. So we prioritise quality. We're not prioritising quality, that's very true. We're not, are we? We're not funded the military. So no, we've got to keep it. We need to keep it. We haven't got a choice in this matter because of other choices that we've made. Sorry about that. Mr. President, but you heard your superior, Iosif. Iosif threw an angry look at Vulcan before turning to me. It almost feels like it's not. This is obviously a decision that is necessary, but it's almost like you know. How the tables have turned, Mr. Lindsay. Who would have thought those many years ago when you reprimanded me, in fact more so than that, kicked me out of the army, in fact, for letting those refugees through. Oh, you give me such a lecture. Oh dear. Look at us now. As you wish, Mr. President. Yes, I do wish, actually. Iosif. Let me look over my documents to see if there's anything else of concern. He checks his folder and then looks at us. Ah, that's about it. I won't take more of your time, sir. We're gonna salute. We're gonna salute. Because he has to salute back. We're not being petty. Far from it. We're a president. We won't be petty. Go. Bye-bye. I left the Ministry of Defence and returned to the Maroon Palace. A little bit of one-upmanship never hurt anybody, did it? Right, okay, news. Fight against the BFF continues in Berger. Felix Bronn continues to ruffle feathers. He's used his emergency powers yesterday, enacting the resettlement order aimed at the BFF's threat inside the cities in Berger. The government's resettlement order has sparked controversy and outrage, with many critics claiming that it is a violation of human rights and an attempt to target the Bluish community. However, we believe that the governor's policy is necessary to combat the Bluish Freedom Front's influence and maintain security in the region. The governor has the legal right to pursue such policies for peace and stability, and his actions should be supported. Hello, Sebastian, how you doing? Oh, it's just riding this one. Yes, yeah. Well, there we go. Cool. There we go. Sorry about that. We got a government budget. We got a government budget, but the growth has gone down. The hell's happened? The hell's happened, man? It is clear that the BFF's propaganda has deeply infiltrated many schools and religious communities. The Hawthorne Post isn't neutral. The government must take immediate action to prevent further radicalisation of young people. While some may see the resettlement order as extreme, it is necessary to step to protect the safety and well-being of all citizens in Berger. We urge the judiciary not to listen to the BFF propaganda and consider the governor's authority and the urgent need for security measures before making any decisions about striking down the resettlement order. Oh, we might get a choice on this one. Governor of Berger issues resettlement order. This is causing quite a stir here, as you would expect. Sparked outrage amongst the Bluish population, as well as the Workers' Party of Bludia. The governor's policy has been condemned as a violation of basic human rights and an attack on the Bluish community. They want the special zone concept abolished. So do I. It's about to, this is coming to a head now. Maybe we'll get what we want. See you later, Rod. Don't declare any wars. I've got until 8 PM to keep it on a level head, you know, level even keel. Radical. All the papers are reporting on this. This is big news, man. In a shocking move, Governor Felix Bronn has issued a resettlement order that permits eviction of Bluish citizens suspected of supporting the BFF and dividing up their communities. This heinous policy is a clear violation of human rights and is a blatant attempt to target the Bluish community. Nobody, blah, blah. Okay, very good. Well, there's a women march for equal education in Enrica. Okay. In other news, kind of overshadowed by this special zone news here, Arcasian Treaty Organization, nuclear breakthrough. Oh my god. Ooh, both for military and energy capabilities. Make it nuclear power safer, more efficient, more sustainable. Okay, not talking about a nuclear bomb, but they're talking about reactors for vessels here. Okay. Nonetheless, still quite eye-opening there. Right, what have we got going on here? Reports, and then we have whole sword to deal with. Right, dear, read the report. Governor Braun enacts resettlement order. Okay, we get the picture about that, don't we? It's caused an outrage, as it would do. This is the Women's Rights March on Enrica. See information, something news happened, but hey, we can't see it. Happy days. Right. Jen. Police raid on young swords in a local pub. Oh, two deaths. And one civilian in a gunfight that broke out. Jesus. In the OK Corral. And Red Youth members arrested. So even though we've made it illegal for them to be part of these groups, obviously they're still causing situations. Hiding in a camp. So obviously they're kind of they've gone undergroundish, haven't they now, really? We forced them underground. Right, okay. Briefing on the current economic situation. Okay, well the growth line has gone from very positive to now slightly negative, which is a slight concern. But we've got government budget, so swings and roundabouts. Okay. We go to the meeting room. Whoa, hi, ho, ha. Everyone stands up. We've got Simon and the Ministry of Economy. We've got Gus Manger. We've got Michael Avon, the co-chairman of the NBC. We've got David Wishy. And we've got Edith Agnock, chairman of the Central Bank. Welcome, Mr. President. Please, take your seats. Everyone takes their seats. As you all know, today we'll go over our economic status. Let's begin without any further ado. How are we doing in terms of our infrastructure? The success of the first infrastructure project is already showing a positive effect on the economy. Mikhail started grinning as he leaned forward. Thanks to the highway, economic growth is returning to Ackland. We're expecting new investments and jobs in the region. Many leaders on the Business Council have praised the logistical improvements. It was a gargantuan effort from our side in the Ministry of Economy. Yes. Yes, it's important that we don't get ahead of ourselves. We can do much more to improve the economy, and we will, because our work is far from over. Let's not pat ourselves on the back too many times. Ah, yes, you are correct. The subjects of tax reform and many more await future debate. Let's hear the stats on our deal with Valen. Our trade deal with Valen has increased our imports and exports by 60% in 1 month, which is a considerably good number. Ah, perfect. Regardless, the numbers are clear. I must say, I still can't get behind a trade deal with Valen, especially when it involved a military cooperation. I feel like we have made a contract with the devil. What is done, Edith, is done. Albeit risky, it is lucrative. Increased trade has improved our economy. I see this as a reason for celebration. On a side note, consumer spending has decreased further due to a pessimistic mood caused by our economic issues. Confident that we can turn this mood around with adaptive projects and solutions. We will keep working, keep striving, and look what we've achieved so far. Surely, we will continue on this path. Yeah, good to hear, good to hear. We will do better. While I agree that our first attempts were not successful, we still might have economic opportunities left. It isn't good for our reputation. The people expect quick solutions. We are running out of time. The central bank has begun working on a bill with the Grand National Assembly to increase our preparedness for future damaging economic incidents. The MBC will also lend support to the analysis and contingency plans regarding the ongoing developments. I'm looking forward to further collaboration between our departments to solve upcoming issues. He checks his large dossier. Sadly, our budget reserves don't look good, but we will need to look into whatever we can to increase the budget we have. Any ideas what we can do about it, Simon? I will formulate a plan and present you with the next steps. As per the latest data from the Ministry, the recession unfortunately seems to be lingering still in some economic areas. No matter the cost, we will have to increase our economic development rates, otherwise I am sad to say that we will be doomed. We need to use the opportunities we have been given. Trade deals and infrastructure improvements always help. Mr. President, I will be very clear. Simon took off his glasses and put them on the table, and he looked me straight in. Oh, serious. When a man takes his glasses off, as a glasses wearer, I can say with confidence, something serious is about to be said. You already know this, and I don't want to frighten you, but if we are unable to stop this recession, we are heading towards an economic catastrophe that has never been seen before in Swordland. No, in all of Eastern Macopa. I can't even begin to imagine how we could survive that. None of us wants to see Swordish people starve while the state is unable to provide for its citizens. Then we need to get to work, don't we? Exactly. He put on his glasses. We put up ours. Now, there are a few methods we can use to tackle the recession. We have the potential to take on additional debt to flatten the downward turn of the economy. The important factor is that we don't take excessive debt going into the future. I have prepared a few project proposals. There are two main distinctions between these projects. It's either about continuing our infrastructure improvements or investing in increasing production. If we continue working on our infrastructure, that would lift us up to advanced country levels. However, our industrial production also needs a boost to return to pre-recession levels. There is, of course, the option to not take any risks related to our budget. The plans for these projects will be finalised soon. For now, I can provide preliminary information. Which one would you like to hear first? Tell me about the infrastructure projects. For infrastructure, we have two projects. One is the Benfey International Airport, and the other is the Morna Port. Benfey is growing at a rapid pace and would benefit highly from an international airport. Much more money to be made there too. The Morna Port will boost trade and improve the flow of goods towards Whole Sword because the Conriat Port is too small in capacity and extension is blocked by the Navy headquarters. Benfey do really need that. This is the second time we've heard about this airport, isn't it? It's the second time now. Well, a port sounds pretty cool too. Do you know what? A full-blown international airport? Why not? If you're going to aim big, right? Benfey is rapidly developing and there is much to gain from increasing its connectivity to the world. Can you imagine all the tourists that would arrive? We must focus on improving the well-being of our worst citizens, and while Morna is no poor city, it very well deserves investment. Okay. I mean, that generally speaking is our mantra. Lifting up the poor people. You know, we invested in the roads up here, for example. Okay, tell me about the boosting to production projects, if you will. For production, we have two projects. One is the Sana Agricultural Zone, and the other is the Conriat Industrial City. I see the Sana Agricultural Zone investment as a higher priority due to the fact that farmers in Bergia were the most hit by the recession. Sana is also a much poorer city than Conriat. The Conriat Industrial City project has the potential to increase manufacturing in the Greater Horsord region by a large amount. Well, we're going to stick with our type here, and yeah, I'm coming from a farming background, perhaps a bit biased, but yeah, you know what? Agricultural investment in Sana. The only issue is it's obviously in this region, which is this whole special Bergia Zoni region, but we could work on that as well. The recession has hit the farmers of Sana particularly hard. Besides, the agricultural output increase would boost our economy. The investment won't be able to recover the industry there. Conriat, on the other hand, would bring more financial gain. Our government has the opportunity to support agriculture, and we should take it. It would increase our exports too, says the Rural Development Minister. Okay. So my thoughts on the situation is we've done one investment, we've done one development upgrade with the road. So this time we'll do a production one, and it's going to have to be the farming. I think we'll go down the farming route. That's my thoughts, I think, on this one. But we've got a couple more questions apparently. How strong is our currency, Edith? Is it possible to do one of each? I don't think so. Might be wrong, but it might depend on our budget, to be fair, which isn't great. So, financially speaking, even if we could do two, we probably still can't. Currency health and economic output degraded significantly and nearly crashed the Swedish Ren. Our currency is on the course to actually crash if we don't act. Catastrophic losses in our financial strength are observed at the central bank, especially compared to pre-election levels. Inflation has increased by 20 percentage points year on year this quarter. Good grief. Mikhail, how is the mood at the National Business Council? The business leaders in the council are nervous about the lack of tangible economic improvements in the country. They are holding on to their investments until they feel it is safe to invest their reserves in the new hires or branches. Okay, thank you. And David, what can we expect in terms of our trade situation? Our success in reaching a trade deal has boosted our position as a regional trade route and increased the likelihood of potential trade partners. We have imported and exported more across the board with all countries except Rumburg. Okay. I thank you all for your information. That concludes the meeting. For now. The meeting ended. Hello, B-Ball. Bye, Ball, B-Ball. Welcome, welcome. Excuse of reading, you see. Throat is beginning to get a bit dry. Okay, no updates on the football, which means it's going ahead by the looks of it. Right, nine news articles. I mean, goodness me. Excuse me if I don't read them all here. I might just try to give you the highlights. Ishval Ersen versus Governor Bron and the Swordish Constitution. So Ishval Ersen is a Bluedish civil rights activist. And he's filed a lawsuit against the governor. About the special zone, basically. Breach of the Constitution, he's saying. But of course, the courts will no doubt see the reason in the governor's policies and reject the lawsuit. Because they're old guard, you see, mainly. Okay, housewives march to defend Swordish tradition in Anrika. So the women's rights movement is picking up pace in Anrika. Happy housewives. Self-proclaimed happy housewives. So they're not happy that girls are basically not in cooking class and sewing class. Looks like I'm going to have a decision to make on this one, and given my wife's position on this, and generally speaking my position, it's not going to go down well with the happy housewives, I feel. Right, Wayland border reinforcements announced. Operation Bear Trap has hit the news. Okay. Working together with the armed forces of Wazek. Okay, good stuff. What? What? I can't go downstairs with this bloody thing. I'm gonna... Right, give me a second, folks. Right. So this game... See you later, Ollie. This game is basically, we are playing the role of a president of a country. Yeah, we're running the show, basically. It's a bit of a kind of a RPG type affair. Right, anyway, onwards and upwards. Central bank bill, a necessary measure. Very good. Right, the Shaven Times, that was that one. Radical, Ishaven, Ishval Urson is right. Okay, so it also Post says one thing, the Radical says the complete opposite. The case has been appealed to the Court of Appeals and is currently under review by the Minister of Justice. Urson claims that Articles 6 and 7 of the Constitution are in direct conflict with the institution of the special zone and Governor Bond's policies. If they agree, it could lead to the amendment of the articles, which seems unlikely. Unfortunately, nobody expects this case to even reach the Supreme Court. Rain closes door to refugees from Valen. The bloodthirsty dictator, Victor Smolak, has begun his operation against the Bluish Freedom Front in northern Valen. The operation's name, Operation Bear Trap. Maroon Palace gave its support to the operation and stated that the Swedish border guard will be in close contact with the Wajik armed forces to stop any fleeing militants. Although this act might seem justifiable at first, Victor Smolak's track record is apparent. He has been accused and condemned by the international community for many war crimes against innocent Bluish people before. He's already ordered the bombings on civilian schools and hospitals, calling them breeding grounds for terrorists. President Rain's response to close our borders to prevent any stragglers from coming into Swordland is troubling. This is what I said, that not all stragglers will be armed militants. That's what I did say. I do think to myself, let's put that on for a second, that we should have told Iosif to be lenient in hindsight. But anyway, what's done is done. Geopolitical. Operation Bear Trap has hit the geopolitical news. Watchtower of Human Rights said they will be following the developments closely for any infractions. More standoffs in the Navy, perhaps? Tensions rising between Valsland and Agnolia? 2 aircraft carriers patrolling the Markian Sea. Show of naval force. Potential provocation. Okay, so negative press about our lack of a agreement with Agnolia. We was completely happy with our report on that one, with our outcome on that one, sorry. Prime Minister Van Horten warned us about the increasing naval presence of Valsland in the Markian Sea. He showed his wishes to have a stronger naval cooperation with Swordland in the future. Is that so? Suzerain. Polio cases discovered in rural Suzerain. Uh-oh. Starting in Valen, it's been moving towards Swordland. Health professionals have been dispatched to curb infections by quarantining patients. 23 active cases at this moment in time. And we've got now protests against this resettlement order. Okay. Situations is potentially escalating, and here we have Urson v Swordland. A landmark court filing has been appealed to the Court of Appeals and is under review by the Minister of Justice. Ishval Erson has sued the governor, as we have heard. Be interesting to see how that develops. Right, onwards then. Ooh, we get to meet on the escalating tensions, finally! Finally, right. We'll get to that in a second. First of all, we'll look at the investment in the mega project. The Ministry of Economy has put forward 4 bold plans for investment projects, with each aiming to solve different issues ranging from production to infrastructure. We've got 4 potential investments. Seaport, Conrail Industrial Zone and Sana Agricultural Zone. Basically, they all cost -2 budget each. We have -2 budget available because we were happy to go down to -3. So we can either have the airport in Benfey, the Conrail Industrial Zone, the Morna Port, or the Sana Agricultural Zone. Being a farmer, I'm from the nearby town of Dare, and this is probably going to have the biggest effect on people per se within our own nation. Yes, that brings tourism and other benefits. Yes, that brings a port, of course. This increases industry in an already pretty decent area. A bit of levelling up, I think, is required. So we're going to go with the Sana Agricultural Zone, quite happily. We've decreased our government budget. Oh, Jesus Christ, that line is as low as it's ever been. That is hideously bad. I think this is kind of scripted, though. I don't think we've made the decisions that would constitute things being this horrendously bad. So this is surely got to have been scripted. A scripted crash, a scripted pivotal point, perhaps, I don't know. But, we've gone from being positive to slashing negative, and we've not really done much over the past couple of turns for this to suddenly happen. The airport could well have been better, but sticking to our principles, we have made our decision. We have made our decision. I mean, ultimately, we should be picking the best decision, I suppose, if we're trying to run the country and avoid the recession, but our little heartstrings were pulled towards the farmers. Right, tensions in Berger. Here we go. Nia Morgner, one of the Supreme Justices, of course. Is she not? Oh no, is it her? No, who was the? It is her, right? Oh no, she's the Minister of Justice. Who was the? What was she called? The other woman. It's been a while. Nia Morgner. Where's the Supreme Court? Where's the justices? What was the name of that woman who was the There it was. I don't know which one called. Anyway, let's carry on for now. So they're discussing the legal case. Thank you for being here at this hour, Mr. President. We need to inform you about some news from Berger. There is a court case initiated by a Bludish citizen which involves a possible revision of the Constitution. Unfortunately, it has the potential to affect the whole country. I'm listening. I'll start from the beginning. As you know, after the discovery of Ka-74s in separatist hideouts, there have been more than a few attacks initiated and claimed by the BFF. Due to the lack of security funding, some of these otherwise avoidable attacks couldn't be stopped. This led to some increase in the tensions in Berger. She's having a dig, is she? The main problem is with the security structure of Berger. Due to the special status of the region, operations on the ground are run by local security forces that are not bound to the interior, which means my hands are tied. Unfortunately, the court's backlog is piling up with increasingly frequent rulings that are unjust. This has led to many of our citizens losing their trust in our justice system. This is particularly a problem for the residents of Berger. It's definitely not helping with the increasing tensions between the Bluish populace and the Swords. It increased even further after Operation Bear Trap. We have been receiving more and more intelligence about some kind of preparation by the terrorists. We can't allow the conflict in Valen to spread to Swordland, and we know that the Valen and Swordland divisions of the BFF are in close cooperation. Yes. This is indeed worrying to hear. The increasing threat of the BFF led Governor Bronn to, justifiably, resort to his emergency powers to curb the danger. His discovery of militant training grounds disguised as schools was commendable, as well as his quick handling of bomb threats coming from major cities like Dare. However, his latest policies have been questionable, especially the peaceful resettlement order. It has been met with massive anger from the majority of the Bloods in the region. That is a massive understatement. Governor Bronn has abused his powers and clearly acted against the Constitution. And quite surprisingly, Ishvel Urson has managed to successfully push his case to the higher courts. He is suing Felix Bronn for infringing upon the liberties of Bluish people. He also raises a conflict in the Constitution and argues that the way it is written makes it open to interpretation and allows people like Governor Bronn to abuse their powers. Tell me more about this Ishvel Urson fella. Ishvel Urson is a lawyer and Bluish civil rights activist. He lives in Dare and has experienced the systemic racism in the region firsthand. He was evicted last month from his home in Dare on the grounds of threatening public stability and safety. He was also shot at by local enforcement forces several times in the last 2 years and managed to survive it all so far. The attackers, of course, were never punished. As much as the eviction seems unjust, Mr. Urson must be further investigated for his potential ties to dangerous organisations. I'd like to believe the forces wouldn't have fired at him without proper reason. Yes, quite frankly, my view is what is happening in the Bluish community is unacceptable. And we need to stop this madness. That we must. Right. So. What exactly does Urson claim about the conflict in the Constitution? As you know, the Rights and Liberties Act Article 7 alludes to are described in Article 100 in further detail. All citizens, in theory, can exercise their rights described in these articles and are equally subject to law as described, and these rights cannot be suspended by government under any circumstances other than a defensive war. Mr. Urson claims the line, "Every sword is equal before the law," in Article 7 does not include other ethnics, and thus gives the state the right to suspend or limit the rights of non-swords defined in Article 100. Courts have repeatedly protected Governor Bronn in the past, and it is true that he bets on Mr. Hawker justifying his actions through Article 7. However, there is also Article 6, which the courts could have taken into account already. Okay, explain. As you know, Article 6 goes, "Everyone who is bound to the Swordish state by citizenship is a sword," which clarifies clearly that the Constitution does not discriminate against other ethnicities or cultures. Citizens of this country are called swords. But did you ask Bluish people what they think? Yes, it's true that this article has protected them on a number of occasions, as it defines sword as non-ethnic term, but it is left up to the interpretation of the courts. They could have argued that Article 6 extends the rights defined in Article 7 to all citizens of Swordland regardless of race, but they didn't, yet. they can potentially push this case to the Supreme Court. Okay, carry on. He is claiming that the current constitution gives the legal grounds to discriminate against Bluedish people, directly infringing upon their rights as citizens. He claims Article 7 of the Constitution. Yep, we've seen that. And he's accused of using Article 7 to justify his oppression of the Bluedish community. Okay, do you know what? I've heard enough. All this legalese talk is going over our heads at this point. Nia stacked the papers in front of her. In any case, the situation might be troubling if it reaches the Supreme Court and Mr. Hawke manages to sabotage it by altering the current interpretation. It would be disastrous for Bluedish rights. I will be doing my best to ensure a positive result comes out of this case, but I am not sure if the centrists would be willing to agree with Mr. Urson. Why would Mr. Hawke even sabotage it? The current interpretation is strictly solist. I'm sure he will follow the Constitution and charge Governor Bron for unconstitutional behaviour. According to the foundational values of this republic, everyone who is a citizen of this country is a sword. The Constitution is clear about this and does not allow for discrimination. Maybe Hawke is not the man you think he is, Miss Graff. For what I've heard, his stance on this subject may not be the standard solist interpretation, but something darker. I'm afraid he'll reject the case altogether and find Governor Bron innocent. If this happens, it would make discrimination against Bluedish people legal. Okay. Isn't there anything I can particularly do about this? I'm afraid not, Mr. President. The executive has no jurisdiction over the judiciary. And in this case, I'm afraid even Justice Edmonds and the centrists would be almost impossible to convince. To be honest, I don't think this is a matter for our administration. We must keep out from judicial affairs. As much as I hate to say it, I somewhat agree with Lilius on this. I prefer to keep the status quo over risking a complete abolishment of rights. We still have the power to make tangible reforms. Okay. What if we can convince the justices to agree with us, and wouldn't that give us precedent to change said articles of the Constitution? If the Supreme Court agrees that the Constitution is in conflict with itself, yes. But I don't know if you are serious or not, Mr. President. I'm afraid even Justice Edmonds and the centrists would be completely against that. It would be a very difficult scenario. As I said, I think the government has better things to do than meddle with judicial affairs. There is, however, something that the government can do to address the situation on the ground. It is time we push for change within the security structure of Berger and the special status that resulted in de facto autonomy. It clearly isn't working. I believe we are aligned on this matter, Mr. President. Mr. President, you asked me to explore options regarding the revocation of the special zone at the beginning of our term. Given the current circumstances, I think it is now possible. Okay, that's great to hear. Tell me the details. The resettlement policies in Berger and the Urson case have changed the mood of the lawmakers. We can use this opportunity to push for the removal of Tarquin Saul's security zone decree. It is a much bigger possibility than before. Of course, racism is rampant throughout the country, but Bluedish citizens inside Berger are having a much worse time than the Bluedish residents of cities like Leshaven or Holsord. If we focus on Berger, we can remove its special status. This alone would be a huge step for Bluedish rights. Unfortunately, as long as Governor Bron is in charge of Berger, with the powers he has, no judicial reforms would reverse the situation on the ground. To put it simply, we want to work on a detailed proposal to restructure Berger. I believe it must become a region of swordland like any other. We must centralise the system and abolish the local security forces. Yes, but are you sure we can achieve this? We can't be sure of anything, Mr. President. You know this better than me. But Lilius and I both believe there is potential to get more MPs behind the idea. It is true. Some members of my circle inside the party are keen on this as well. They are starting to believe Saul's policy in Berger has already run its course. If we play our cards right during the process of this case, while we work on the preparation of a strong proposal for the special zone, we can gather enough support behind it. We have to try. Well, in for a penny and in for a pound. We will have to eventually change Article 6 and 7 as well. I'm glad that we agree. Of course, we should push for that in our next amendments. Before we get distracted, I'd like to briefly talk about the details of the proposal. Nia and I both agree that we need to abolish the special zone of Berger. This is the first point that the proposal will address. This would also mean taking away the special authority of the governor. I agree with removing the governor as well as his insane authority, but I don't support a complete centralisation of the region. I propose that we restructure the special zone, democratise it, and acknowledge the Blue Dish movement. How does that resolve anything? How do you solve any problem by dividing the region from the rest of Swordland? We've tried that already. Hey, hang on, Lilius, hang on. Thank you, Mr. President. Millions of Bluedish people suffered over the last decades. We saw a massive uprising, terror attacks, and a governor going rogue. These people only wanted to live in this country as equals, but they were denied that. Why don't we allow Burgeons to elect their own local governor? Why is Holsword so keen on prying into the lives of the Bluedish people? We should replace the oppressive laws of the special zone with a democratic system that allows for proper local representation. I propose the Berger semi-autonomous region. I'm sorry to tell you, Miss Morgner, but Berger is part of Swordland as much as Agland or Holsword. You're bringing secessionist Fetty Egil's lifelong quest here as your proposal? What's wrong with you? What's next? Secession of Berger and a formation of an independent Bluedish state? Autonomy for Agland? And what did you hold a referendum for the Rums of Estord and ask them if they want to join Rumburg while you're at it? Okay. So, Miss Graff, carry on. What's your proposal? My proposal is very simple. The special zone must be fully revoked, governor's powers taken away, and the local security forces must be abolished. Only then Berger can be an equal part of Swordland. I propose we unite Berger with the rest of Swordland and enforce the same laws and policies as any other Swordish region, dismantling the current semi-independent security structure in the process. We will hold local municipal elections, just like every city in Swordland, and the security of the region will be under the full control of the Ministry of the Interior. We can no longer allow their forces to pursue violence with impunity. If this was a problem that the central government could fix, your mighty colonel would have solved it already. The assimilation policies clearly didn't work. What does that have to do with anything? I'm just saying, the solution is not rushed unification. We must acknowledge that Berger is a unique region with its own culture and history. We cannot disregard the social reality. Interesting. So peaceful assimilation is not the solution. Listen to what the Bluedish people want. Unify it with the rest of Swordland. I don't agree with either of you. Well, that's not the option we're going to go down. The Northern Ireland question. Lamb minced spaghetti. I'm having Indian curry tonight. After football, so I won't be having it until 10 o'clock at night. Not the best time to eat your dinner, is it really? But hey, somebody insists on giving us 9 o'clock kickoffs. This is the second week in a row. Interesting. I don't think we're committing necessarily to, with this comment that we're going to make next, but my initial reaction was, yeah, well, just have them be integrated, but they are quite a unique area, I suppose. See, Nia seems to me to talk a lot of sense. Lilius, bless her heart, every time she says something, we never listen to her. You know what? We can give it a try. We can give it a try, Nia. Peaceful assimilation? No. No. Nia smiled. We'll give the Bluish people a chance to speak, see what they want to do. Of course they're going to want to have their own little thing going on down there, but hey, makes them happy, keeps the peace. Okay, she's off to start the proposal. No second thoughts. Get working on it immediately. Lilius looked incredibly furious. I doubted that she would forget about this. Well, never mind, Lilius, I'm sure you'll get over it. To have a structure that will actually solve the problems of the region, we need to conduct in-depth research beforehand. I believe it will take some time. My estimate is that the proposal will be ready sometime after your constitutional amendments are voted on. You can choose whether to enact it then. Sounds good. I'm counting on you, Miss Morgner. Don't let me down. And off she goes. Okay. Bid their farewells and leave the room. Bingo bango. Right, it's now 10 past or 5 past 8. So I'm going to start getting ready for football now. In the next session then, we shall continue onwards. We have news articles to read. We'll read them in the start of the next session, I suppose, now. We've got some reports there, and that's pretty much about it. And then we've got to look forward to a couple of things. First of all, budget allocation of healthcare. Got to go around the houses to shut all this down. Bloody hell. Right, so we've got some budget for the healthcare there. Probably talking about privatisation. And here we've got the Central Bank Reinforcement Act, which actually is just a quick clicky, isn't it? It's going to take -1 to government budget. Oh my God! Can we take another -1? We're in massive negative growth. -3 already. This has to pass. It has to pass. Oh my God. Right, well, we're not making that decision today anyway, so, oh, heavens help us. Budget allocation. What budget? What money? We have not got a bloody 2 pennies to rub together, I'm afraid. We're going to have to go to -4. This could be a catastrophe. Oh, goodness me. But anyway, that's a pickle for the next session. We've had enough pickles today, so, yeah, we have to sign that bill. We cannot not sign it. Oh. Hey-ho. Needs must and all that. We'll have to see what happens. We're going to -4 budget. That's a problem for future. Indeed it is. Let's sleep on it and worry about it next week. Anyway, folks, enjoy the rest of your evenings. And next session could be Saturday, as I said. It could be Alan Wake Saturday, which means it'll be this on Sunday. Depends what's happening on the weekend. I don't know at the moment. But, yes. Troubling times ahead, folks. Troubling times ahead. But that's the nature of politics for you. When is running a country ever smooth sailing, eh? Thanks for watching, as always. A BG stream. We'll be getting back to BG3 next week. I will be bringing you some BG. I've not completely put it on a complete pause. So we will be getting to that. Don't you worry about that, because I am itching to get back into that as well. So that will be coming next week at some point. But yeah, enjoy, folks. I'll see you at some point in the not too distant future. And wish me luck at football, because, we're playing the team that's top of the table at the moment, and they're having a really good season. As I said, we're second from bottom, so let's see what happens. Until next time, folks, thanks as always, and I'll see you all soon. Hey dear, bloody budgets.